the window had been busted out and part of our gear had been stolen.
There's nowhere to play up here at all.
I'm sitting there kind of by myself, like waiting for my manners, and the mirrors, like the mirrors kind of like spin open like 90 degrees, like they kind of rotate open, and all these women in sexy lingerie can come walking out from behind the mirrors.
I'm just going to throw this out there that it almost sounded like you were kind of the dark side sometimes of the scene.
Just when I'd parted ways with Monuments, and so it was really, really desperate time of my life.
At the end of it, our bass player told us, like, he just looked at us like, yeah, this is my last show.
So, like, basically back to the Beast era.
Dealing with this alcohol intake, and we're at a Christian festival, and we're supposed to be a Christian band. I was kind of like, man, this sucks. This is not a good look.
Welcome back to Dark Side of the Scene. I'm your host, Brandon, alongside Ed.
Yo. I
What's going on?
was running late playing video games because that's what some of us kids do. We play video games to take our stress out on things because, like, we have like a show later this month, right? Well, we got two of them. One of them has been confirmed for a while. One of them was confirmed last month. And the thing is, like, I haven't seen a flyer or any information on it. Apparently, it's up north. I won't say where, because if things like pan out, I ain't gonna talk shit. But my issue is that I don't have much information other than that. And then I heard another person's taking over the show, or any other shows that the first person did. And I go to message that guy. Well, I messaged him first. And I figured, well, I better become his friend, because if you can't see the message, that's how Facebook is. It'll be in like a different folder. So I became his friend. And then I messaged him again, and he hadn't seen it, but yet he's been posting shit. Like,
He's just not reading it.
Yeah, what kind of fucking promoter is that? Like, I don't feel like I get enough. I guess that's not my job. But I don't feel like I'm too busy to check all my fucking messages. It is not that hard. I mean, there's so many notifications that your phone will tell you.
I'll say it'll pop up on your phone. You can look at it and you read it from your phone without actually showing that you read it. If it's on the lock screen or whatever, and you just swipe it and then it goes away. I think a lot of people do that. They're like, oh, I ain't replying back to this. I just ignore
it. I mean, not after I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to talk shit because maybe it'll work itself out. But again, I like to be prepared a month ahead of time to promote, because they were saying something about we need to bring people. And it's like, we're not from that area. So we could promote the best we can, which we do, but we need information, a flyer even, like,
yeah.
Oh, come here.
You don't even know if you're on the damn show. Come to this show. What show? This one. We're at. We don't know.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit frustrated by that kind of shit, and rarely does that happen, that I can't communicate with somebody, because I think a lot of people are good at this, but it's just once, and I have four other guys asking me what's going on with that show, on the behalf of my band. Because I booked it,
Yeah, it's hard to do anything when you don't know all the information.
No. So that is annoying as shit. It really is. Like, okay.
It's just another I wouldn't say typical, but it's kind of common sometimes that you deal with promoters that suck.
Something. I mean, it's not like they're doing several places. It's just the one place.
I have a lot of shit that I do, and I still manage to respond to people. So I don't,
right?
Unless it's something that I really, I'll take that back. There's certain people that message me that I don't want anything to do with, and I just don't read their messages, or I'll read it and then just don't respond, because I don't really know these people, and the stuff they're telling me is very irrelevant, and I don't know why they keep messaging me.
Well, that's kind of a little different than that
Yeah.
I'm dealing with because
But when it relates to like band stuff or this podcast or anything like that, I always respond to people as quick as I can.
right, it isn't hard, and that's basically if you had it, as they say, you had one job.
Yeah.
So hopefully it works itself out, and I don't end up fucking bitching later.
Everyone out there listening, tune in the next couple weeks and find out if that show went to shit or not.
Right.
We'll give you an update.
Yep.
And on that note, if you would like to be on Dark Side of the Scene, talk shit to Ed and I, you can send an email to Brandon@darksideofthescene.com. They get scheduled on a future episode. I promise we'll try and make it entertaining for you.
Mhm.
Most likely we'll just sound like dumbasses and let you speak because that's typically how the show goes. But I've been listening to some of our episodes after they've released. I'm like, damn it, we sound dumb sometimes.
I sound stupid. I admit that. I won't admit. Excuse me. I won't not deny it.
I don't know. Maybe we're the lovable idiots. I don't know.
Or not. One
Yeah,
of the two.
maybe people are just gonna be like, are they ever gonna shut up?
Right.
Yeah, well, until we're canceled, I guess not. Dun, dun, dun.
Hey, I'm waiting for my blue pills. I'm not getting canceled until I get them blue pills.
Yeah. Anyone out there listening, and if you work for a boner pill company, we're looking for that sponsorship to help combat Ed. Not this Ed, but the ED kind. See, it sells
Yep.
itself.
Yep.
But yeah, we got a guest waiting for us to bring him in, so hang tight and we'll be back in a second. I'd like to take the time to welcome our guest tonight. John, thanks for coming out and talking to Ed and I.
Yeah, not a problem, guys. Thanks for having me.
I like your last name. I mean, you're not related to one of the serial killers, are you?
He's a distant uncle.
We were having
Sweet.
that conversation before you got on. I was like, I wonder if it's the same guy and he's calling us from his cell. I like this really will turn to a dark side of the scene.
Dun, dun, dun.
Unky Richie.
Yeah. That
Where
was
you
his
fr-
name, Richard.
Sorry. Richard. Yeah, okay, that was his first name. We were trying to figure. Where are you from? Not Richard.
I am from Los Angeles, California.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
That's hardcore.
Yeah, it can be at times, yeah.
Oh, nice. How's your scene there? Like, what kind of music do you play?
I play heavy metal.
Yes.
I've been in a few local bands. I'm in a project currently myself right now. I haven't performed live in a few years, but in the times I was active, it was an interesting scene. You have your groups of really cool people, groups of not really cool people, almost like high school. Have all the different groups and cliques and whatnot.
Okay. So like, and you said you're just currently like in your own project right now?
Yes, I have a solo project called Parasite, and I perform all the music. I record all the music, write the lyrics, and my good friend Philip Vargas, who has his own project called Wisdom and Fools. He's the one who records me, and he does the vocal duties for now until I can find someone else or someone more permanent or whatnot. Yeah.
Cool. So, damn it, I had a question.
Oh, sorry.
So your past bands, how did they go? Like basically the whole. I can't even talk. The whole theme of this show is like any like bad experiences with your old bands or things that obviously you're doing your own solo thing and gonna eventually look for members. Like, did it not go well with the other bands, or just curious?
No, yeah, definitely. There was things that came up, differences, not to get too specific. I mean,
Sure.
I but in respect to parties involved, there were some differences that came up with some of the other bands. It seems to be like every relationship, communication is very key when you're working with other people. One mindset I have, one part of my mindset I have is I always treat a band like a business. You're going into it with business partners. You're there to do the job, and that's to create music, to mesh together, to create stuff together, get on stage and perform it. Some people mix business with pleasure a little too much.
Mm.
Some people don't get the difference of separating it. I take music seriously. I'm a fun guy. I like to have fun, but I take my art and my music very serious.
Right. That's
And
weird. Yeah.
and just some people don't get that, or some people say, oh yeah, man, yeah, definitely, yeah, for sure, I get it, that's cool. And then it just trails off and they do their own thing, and it's like, oh, I thought we were in agreement on this.
No, I was gonna say that's weird because I was telling somebody about how like a band is kind of a business in a way.
Mhm.
Like there is a business side, right? You need to get funding and merch and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's also, what's the point of doing all that if they don't take the musical side serious? Like, okay, we got some songs here and we're going to play those. And then eventually later on, you're going to have to write more songs because you don't want to keep playing the same shit. So it's sometimes some people don't understand that thing to move forward. I don't understand. Like, I don't want to play the same songs all the time. I mean, and that's another thing some people don't get either. Like that kind of aspect of the business side to be in a band. But
yeah, the first band I was in, we were they were an existing band. My older brother was the drummer, and he had a very good high school friend who was the guitar player and singer. They established something for a few years. They needed a bass player, and I started out playing guitar, and I stepped up, and I was still in high school at the time, and they're like, yeah, they were like 7, 8 years older than me, and they're like, yeah, man, we need someone to play. You've always been there at all our practices, our songs. Let's see what you can do. And I was the bass player, and we had a lot of fun. There was a lot of really great memories I have with them. We were together for 10 years. A lot of great memories. Again, sometimes it comes down to communication with certain things outside of the band that get carried over. And that wasn't specifically for us. That could happen to anybody and everybody. You and some buddies are hanging out at a bar, there's a miscommunication. The next day at band practice, that miscommunication comes up, and now we can't get through a practice. We got a big show coming up. Now we can't get through a practice because you're still mad at me about something I said when I was drunk. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not specifically, but that's why I say communication is key. You sometimes got to lay down those barriers, like any type of relationship. Just say, hey, we step in the practice space. We're here. We're dealing with the music. Let's keep the drinks. Let's keep this or that, till after practice. Yeah, just sometimes people go with it. Sometimes things get mixed up still.
This reminds me of a band member we used to have. They start drinking at practice, like a 6-pack. I never understood that, just because and then we watch slowly dwindle into like buzz to drunk. I'm like, like that just remind me of that.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that happening once in a while. If it's a everyday thing, there's going to be a problem, and work is never going to get done.
Hell, work doesn't get done with sober people when their mind ain't in the right place. But hey, I'm not saying shit right now. So I'm trying to paint the picture, and you've been in LA your whole life, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm trying to paint the picture of like, okay, when a band starts out, like yours,
Mhm.
where do they go play first? Like, if you're gonna go play out, where is like the place to go? I'm trying to paint a picture of LA here.
Yeah, places to go. The Whiskey, the Roxy,
Correct.
uh, Viper Room. Um, let's see.
Well, I mean, like if your band started, where can you
Uh,
get booked? Like for a small band like yourself, like where would you normally go? Like, hey, we can play
um,
over there.
yeah, kind of the ones I named. Those are the ones that like
Okay.
people are hit. Um, you know, Roxy, the Whiskey A Go Go, Viper Room. Um, I know there's a lot of in some areas of LA, there's a lot of backyard gigs. There's a lot of house gigs
Mm.
that people get going, and they can be crazy, you know. Um, and sometimes when you get those club gigs, sometimes those underground people are like, "Oh man, now you guys are selling out. Why do you want to play at a club? Now we got to pay to see you." It's like, yeah, I mean, we're in it for the art. We want to make the art, but at the same time, we do have to make a living too, you know?
They call that selling out. That's a little weird.
Yeah, when when you do a demo, you charge for the demo, or you know instead of handing it out at the backyard party, you know, people are like, "Oh, you're selling it now? Never mind, no thanks."
Way to support your scene.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know, it's odd. There you get a lot of people who say, "Yeah, man, the scene has to stick together. We're all in this together." And then, you know, when it comes down to it, it's like, "Oh, do you want to buy a shirt? You want to buy the CD, you know?" Oh, next time, man. I'll get you next time and, you know, this and that. It's like, "Oh, okay, it's just a $5 CD. It's a $10 shirt, you know."
Hmm.
But you're going to spend $30 on beer. So, okay, cool.
Yeah, that's typical usually behavior right there.
Yeah.
Did you did you ever do any like small touring or anything like that? Like
Um
leave town?
Unfortunately, no. But when I was in active bands, um, we hit some notable places. You know, the Roxy, the Whiskey.
Hmm.
I even played down in a Chain Reaction in Anaheim,
Hmm.
which was pretty cool. It's like a battle of the bands thing, and that was pretty fun. I know there's a lot of bands that tour through there, so that's a pretty cool spot.
Nice. Doesn't like somebody famous own Chain Reaction? I f-
Ooh, good question.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
Oh, okay. I was thinking, I don't know why I thought of like Phil Demmel all of a sudden from Machine Head, but I don't know where he lives exactly in California, if he does.
Well, I know if I'm not mistaken, I think he's married to the keyboard player from Bleeding Through, and they're a total Orange County band from Anaheim.
Maybe that's where he lives. Okay.
Mhm.
Maybe they own a bar there. I'm pretty sure he owns a bar somewhere out that way, but I don't know why I thought of that.
Oh, that's cool.
Huh. I didn't I didn't know he was married to a keyboard player. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then so what's the so basically, I guess other things, any other crazy stories you have about like when you were playing out and random stuff?
Yeah, when I after that first band, you know, didn't work out, the three of us went our separate ways. I started hitting up you know, I was like, man, you know, I want to get my own project going. You know, I have enough knowledge about this and that. You know, see who I can find out there.
Hmm.
You know, checked out Facebook groups, you know, things like that. I eventually got on Craigslist with the classified ads,
No, sorry.
you
Every time people bring that up, I laugh. I don't know why.
know,
Some crazy people on there.
yeah, yeah. Um, you know, so I hit that up and you know, it'd be the thing where I get in touch with someone, hey, you know, check out you know, these are the bands I'm into. Check it out. What do you think? Oh yeah, man, you know, let's meet up. And then we never meet up. We exchange information and numbers, and then maybe out of like 10 people that I hit up, maybe 2 seemed serious and they ended up falling through. One interesting story I do have, one of the very first people I met up with a guy, and I don't remember his name. This is back in like 2014.
Mm.
And so I meet up with him. We were vibing. He was into bands I was into. We had a lot in common. Very cool guy. Nothing bad about him. And he said, yeah, me and my band, we're looking for another guitar player. Awesome. What's the style you guys do, this and that? Well, you got to talk to my guitar player. I'll have you meet up with him. You guys can, vibe and figure things out and, see where we go from there. Awesome. Cool. And I was excited. I'm like, man, like, okay, this is cool, And it was kind of a distance from me. It was about like an hour drive up north of California, or I'm sorry, up north of LA, a little bit out in the San Fernando Valley. And so I go and I meet up with the guy, go to his house and everything. And at the time I didn't have a full guitar rig. I had a, little practice amp. I had my guitar and like my pedal board and whatnot. I walk in there, he's setting up all his stuff, and I'm like, hey man, where's your amp? I was interested in his gear and whatnot. And keep in mind, this is 2014, so not all the home studio stuff was like as big as it is now, where everybody can just buy a program and record and be a recording artist, in their bedroom. And he's like, oh, that's my rig right there. And he points at his computer console. And I'm like, what? Okay. And he's playing through it and he's fixing settings and whatnot. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. My mind was blown. This is, almost 10 years ago. I didn't see anything like that. And I was like, wow, okay, cool. And I'm in the middle of like tuning up or jamming on something with him, like just a simple jam. He legit walks over to me from across the room, unplugs my stuff and says, oh, I hate pedals. Sorry, hang on. And then he unhooks my rig, my little practice amp and my pedal board, and hooks it into the computer with him. And I'm like, okay, well, I have my settings, I have my tone and everything. He's like, yeah, I don't like pedal boards. Sorry, man. You can play through my computer instead. I just don't like your guitar tone.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of rude, kind of weird. I don't know. I was very turned off by that experience.
Did he have his shirt off the whole time? I just picture this guy with like curly hair with the shirt off, and they unplugs his shit.
Funny thing is, he did have curly hair, but he kept his shirt on the whole time.
Okay. I was just like thinking of John Holmes. I don't know why. Anyway.
So it was just a very turned off experience.
Wow.
He invited me into his home, his practice space, and I was respectful. And, I followed the rules and hooked up and we played and everything. And 5 minutes into the jam, he unhooks my stuff without warning, just says, I don't like pedals, hook into my rig. Yeah. So that was easily one of the weirdest experiences I've had meeting someone on Craigslist.
You didn't like jam with him again? That was it, huh?
Yeah, that was it. I got in my car and I said to myself, I'm like, that was a very unwelcoming experience. I did not care for that.
I'm actually shocked that like he wanted to. I mean, your rig was normal, but he was just doing it through the computer. It's like, is that all you do? I don't know.
Yeah, and seeing that for the first time, like I said, I know that's the norm. Everyone's using that method now. I'm still kind of an old school guy. I love the amp and everything, the cabs and whatnot. And to see that, I was just like, that's weird. Okay, you can play through a computer now. Awesome. And so for him to approach me that way and be like, oh, I don't like pedals, plug into my stuff, play it that way. It's like, wow, I wonder what it's like to write music or be in an actual band with this guy.
We don't know. If you're out there, curly haired guy, sorry.
Yeah.
Wow. Any other weird things that happened to you?
That was probably one of the weirdest ones. It was just unwelcoming, it was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I texted his singer the next day, and I was just like, you know what, man, the band ain't for me. You know, good luck to you guys. Thanks. You know, I kept it very cordial, as cordial
Yeah.
as I could. You know, other experiences I had were just like the people I was in a band with. I will say, when it comes to the separation of the business and the pleasure part of it,
Hmm.
all the people I was in bands with, very extremely talented musicians, incredible players. I loved playing with them. We all clicked and everything. Personally speaking, they need to work on their communication skills. Again,
Sure.
it comes back to that. That seems to be a theme in
Yeah.
the scene, you know. You know, it's just like, hey, let's practice this day. Okay, you know, let me take some time off of work, or let me just call out that day. You know, it's I'm working a half day anyway. You know, let me just call out. Why go in and, you know, things like that. And then the day of, it's like, hey man, I can't make it.
Huh.
Awesome. I called out, and now, you know, what the hell do I do? You know.
I feel like that's happened to us. We're like all day wait because we're gonna meet up, and then all of a sudden somebody like last minute says, "Oh, I can't make it." Oh, you had fucking hours or days ahead to say that. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
we're kind of in the position where we're like, okay, we're not gonna get too upset, but we recently got a new guy where he gets fucking extremely upset when like somebody doesn't show up, which is like, man, I'm like, I wonder if like, okay, have I been too lenient to let this slide, or is he just being a dick? I don't know. It's like, but I'm like, well, if we need to take this serious, like our communication should be a lot better. So in a way, like we kind of slacked off. So it's kind of like one of those things where you don't want to be too strict, because it's like, well, it's not like we're really getting paid for this, but yeah, that's a tough one to deal with. Communication's like fucking important, but
Yeah.
I guess if you're comfortable with each other, then it's okay to like, well, I can't make it, guys. I'm really sorry, and you know, it's okay to, as long as he said sorry. I don't know.
And you know, honestly too, I get that things come up. You know,
Right.
everyone has a life. There's going to be unexpected things. Oh man, you know, I got a flat tire, or the
Right.
battery. Hey, something with my family, you know, this or that. And so I get that. When that seems to be the same type of excuse on a weekly basis, that's when I kind of start to wonder.
Oh yeah.
You know, one story that actually does come to mind, uh, going back to interesting people, the the second band I was in, it was another guitar player and a drummer. Again, awesome musicians, and we were looking for a vocalist at the time. Met a guy on you know, Facebook group, hit him up. Hey, you know, we record ourselves in the practice room. Hey, check us out. This is what we sound like. Here's an original song. Yeah, I really dig it, man. Let me yeah, let me meet up with you guys. Okay. So he met up with us a couple of times. Uh Traveling to meet us, I would say, was probably a little issue for him. But at the time, I would try to make it work and be like, hey man, you know, I'll even go and pick you up. Like, I'll go out of my way and go pick you up to make this happen.
Mm.
You know, because that's how like business oriented I was, like with band stuff. It's like, hey man, you know, if you need a ride, I'll go over there and get you just for you to make practice. Like, let's make this happen.
Yeah.
You know. And so he did that. And then at one point, I don't know, maybe like a month later, communication was cool. He was a cool dude. He always showed up, you know, once or twice a week, and we did stuff and worked on, you know, jamming and worked on things. I go to a practice at my guitar player's house, and he says, "Oh, did you hear from so and so?" No, no, you know, is he showing up later? And then he says, "No, man, somebody came up with his family, and he has to go back to Mexico or something like that, like because his grandpa is sick, or a relative is sick over there." And I was like, wow, okay. Okay. And I couldn't be upset about that, you know, because again, things happen. I was just like, okay, okay, I guess he's out then, and then I even, texted the guy. I was like, hey man, I heard about what happened. I'm sorry. I hope, you know, everything turns out good. And, that was it. Again, kept it cordial, couldn't get mad at that. But then a couple weeks later, that homeboy was like back in the Facebook group saying, hey, vocalist looking for a band. What's up, guys? Hit me up. Yeah.
Hmm.
So I don't know if in hindsight, like how I should have reacted. I don't know. Just things like that. It's like if it's a no, just tell me no. Just please be straight up. If it's not your type of music you want to do, tell me up front. If you
Yeah.
don't want to bother with these practices, then tell me no. It's fine. We're all adults.
Yeah. It actually this reminded me of an old story. I don't think I've ever told anybody on this show. Like I was just a bedroom musician and a long time ago. I think like my brother's dad told me somebody in a city, I don't know, I'm trying to think, like 40 minutes away was looking for a band. And I remember texting them. It's like saying I was going to meet up, and then I didn't. And then I'm like, to this day, I kind of regret that. And sorry, Scott from Plymouth. This was years ago, dude. Like we're talking like talking like 2005 or 6. And
Oh, wow.
I just thought about that. I'm like, that was really shitty what I did, but it was forever going. I wasn't even a band, so I think I had the scared jitters. Just like
How did you
jamming
even come across them?
my brother's dad worked with a guy who was looking for a guitar player. So
I forget how we communicated back in the day before social media. Like,
pretty sure it was by text. I mean, we still had cell phones.
yeah, I know. I'm just meaning, like, how did we find, like, on forums or something? How did we communicate for, like, finding musicians back in those days?
Yeah, again, that was word of mouth. So, like,
Yeah.
like, I wonder what happened to that guy. I feel like a dick. Like, I don't know. It doesn't matter because this was like before I was in any band, but I had like the jitters. It's like, oh my God. Because, like, it is kind of scary meeting up with people, like, the musicians. Like, well, I'll take that back. I've only been in 2 bands, and like, well, the first time I met people, I was a little scared, but I played for them a little, and we had like-minded, tastes, so it was kind of easy. But the second band, I already knew most of the guys, so it just, I don't know. If I was to do a third one, I probably would be scared, even though I'm like old. I would be like, I'd have like stage fright. Like, I know I've played live, but it's weird because you don't really know how you're going to gel with these guys at first, and it's just like you really can't. You don't have the hindsight to think about that.
Yeah. That's why I say like I've always kind of like laid that ground rule with people like I meet and work with, because it's like, yeah, man, I see it as a business. We're business partners. We're here for the, creating music and whatever. And if we happen to be friends and we we get closer, we becomes friends out of this, we hang out outside of practice times or live performances or whatever, great, awesome, that's great. And if not, some people just want to show up just to make the music and then leave, and that's it. And them as the musician, not as the person, and that's cool too. Everyone's different.
I kind of wonder about what you just said, because like our band, we don't really hang out separate. I mean, we know each other, but it's not like we have that bond where, like, well, once in a while we might get together, but like, I don't know, like, how important it is to just hang out with your band. Like, I mean, is that important to do it often? And I mean, what if you don't like the person outside the band? I don't know. See, like, but I guess that would be a problem if you went on tour with them. But like, if that ever happened, so
yeah. See, and that's the thing. That's kind of like that separation. That's kind of like that boundary you have to have. It's like, okay, we're gonna be here. We're gonna make music. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna be a bunch of cool guys. And then outside, it's like, hey, man, you want to go for a beer? And it's like, I don't like this dude's opinion about this or that, or I don't like the way he does this or that. I don't want to be out in public with this guy. Like, and then maybe you make an excuse, or maybe you say, oh, not today, man, maybe some other time, or whenever like the mood hits you and you're like, what, I do want to hang out with you now. It just really depends. Everyone's different, especially with social media now, Twitter, things like that. People are so opinionated, and sometimes you gotta stay to yourself. Sometimes, there's just certain things you have to have boundaries with, I guess you can say.
Yeah. Let's to the audience. Like, I've been trying to figure out Mr. John, what he looks like by his voice and by listening to his stories. I have like 3 subjects in mind. First one, again, audience, I don't know what John looks like. We've been playing this game once in a while on this show, but like, I think he looks, first guess, he kind of looks like Juice from Sons of Anarchy. Again, I don't know what he looks like. So, unless some of you guys have seen the show, I think of Juice from Sons of Anarchy. And my second guess is the guy that played like Johnny Cage in like Mortal Kombat, the digital actor, not like the movies, like the guy that played the actor in the Mortal Kombat games. And the third is this dude named Joe, which doesn't make sense to anybody else but myself. Well, but nobody knows who Joe looks like, so that doesn't help. But was I right on the other 2?
I didn't watch Sons of Anarchy enough to know. I've heard that character. I don't know what he looks like, so I'm gonna have to Google that now. I'm curious.
Okay, go ahead. You can Google if you want. Do you know what he looks like, Brandon?
Yeah. He's a bald
He's got like a mohawk.
He's got like a mohawk and tattoos on the side of his
That's
head.
what I think he looks like.
Well, I'm looking at him right now, and unfortunately, that would not be me.
Not even the guy from Mortal Kombat, then, who the actor did Johnny Cage.
I'm gonna have to say no on that too. Yeah. I've actually heard the comparison. Some people have told me I look like a combination of Randy Blythe from Lamb of God and Jonathan Davis from Korn.
That's way off.
No, so you're way off again.
Yeah, just the long hair, the glasses.
We don't always ask this, but turn your camera on just so I can see you.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry.
No, it's cool. Let's see.
Now you can turn it off when we see you. Oh, it was way off. No, you look nothing like either of those guys.
All right.
It's got to look like this guy named Eli, but no, I would never guess it. All right.
All right.
What are you, like 0 for 5 now?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm terrible at this game. Okay, so anyway, you can turn it on. Okay.
Okay.
So I like to ask people how, like, during the Beast era, that whole shitty lockdown and all that stuff. So obviously that ruined a lot of scenes, and actually it ruined everybody's musical. What did you do during that? How did you keep sane?
How did I keep sane during that time? I did my best to keep making music, keep writing. At that time, I was gearing up to release another EP of 4 new songs that I was putting out. So I was really, editing like the little music videos or the visualizers,
nice
for the music. Figuring out the album artwork. I was really into that process. That creative process. And then it was just I'm a big movie buff, and I'm kind of an introvert. So staying home all day, watching movies and, doing normal stuff, I was okay. Just got to stay home and not focus on work. I was out of work for about 2 months. They actually paid us to stay home.
What do you do, just by curious?
At the time, I was working with vehicle registration paperwork and office type of work.
Oh, okay. So you could do that from home then, sort of.
Unfortunately, no, because
Oh,
it's
okay.
dealing with people's personal information. Uh,
Uh,
we could not take it home with us. So instead of lay us off or anything more extreme, they said, okay, well we'll go ahead and let you guys stay home then. You can, we'll pay you and whatnot. And yeah,
damn.
so yeah, you know, I was very lucky. I was very fortunate. I
Mm,
appreciate that because I know a lot of people were not that fortunate, you
right.
know. Yeah.
Oh, wow. You just kind of made the best of it then. Like it didn't bring you down. Huh. That's good to
Not
hear.
too much.
That's
It
good.
it was a very interesting time because of course when that happened, there was another big social event happened that kind of kicked off a lot of hostility and divided
Oh,
people by later that
okay.
summer.
Yeah, I remember that. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm not going to get into that, but I will say, given the unpredictability of the beast, and then that later event, it's like, wow, so is this the end times? Cool. Let me just sit back. Let me get my favorite food and drink, and let me just watch it all unfold and keep doing my art.
What's your favorite food and drink?
Oh man, um, I man, pizza.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, yeah, pizza. Beer, root beer, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was a weird time for sure. I mean, as I said in the other episodes, like I didn't sit at home. I had to work the whole time, which was kind of crazy, but like it was nice because we were like we live in the heartland of RVs, but I don't work in RVs, so it was kind of cool to go to work and there was like no traffic at all. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
hell yeah. And I even got like a pass from work saying like I was allowed to be on the road because they're pulling over people that were driving. Well, I don't know if that was the really happened, but I never got pulled over, but I should have like framed that pass. So yeah, it sounds like you made the most of it. So like, and then well, once things started picking up, did you join another band afterward? Like, just like, all right, like it's my moment to strike. I'm gonna get the band back together. No.
Well, I'm still very focused on the solo thing, creating all the music, all the visuals, and putting it out there.
Mm,
And at that time, um, because I was going to be releasing that new collection of music
yeah.
at the beginning of that year in 2020, I was telling my circle of close friends and like my fiance and stuff. I was like, you know, to really get my music out there, I'm gonna try live performances by myself. So
Mm,
what I was gonna do is I was gonna take a live guitar with me and play my music like on a backing track and play live guitar over it.
mm,
And just make the best of it and just at least try to get out there because that's one of the biggest factors of getting out there is live performances. People want to see it. Like
right.
they can sit on their phone all day and listen to it, but when they actually see it, they like, it says something to a listener or a viewer.
Mm.
So I had that planned. And then when they started shutting things down and concerts getting canceled, I was like, wow, that's not happening this year. Okay.
I mean, did you think about like doing like live streaming anyway? Like you still could have pulled it off, like that aspect.
Uh, yeah, I kind of did. I just kind of like went live on like Instagram stories and stuff and hung out for like 30 or 40 minutes, played all my music. Played some stuff I didn't release or, did a cover or whatnot. Um, that just the best way to get out there, just, something visual for people. And
Mm,
so I did that to the best of my ability as well. Yeah.
mm. Basically, you just cut out the middleman and just said, you know what, screw people. I'm just gonna do everything myself. Which,
Yeah, and that was kind of the goal when I started my project, Parasite, when I had the epiphany when like the third band I was in back in 2017, again, great group of musicians I was with. Communication was piss poor.
mm,
It ended very abruptly, very hostile from another party in the band, and just
mm,
kind of set off a chain reaction of things. And it's just like, okay, well, no offense to other people out there or friends or whatnot, but I was done with people. I was absolutely turned off by the people in the scene, you know. And so when I came to that epiphany of like, you know, there's people out there who do solo things. There's people out there who record their music by themselves, or it's just them performing and they still put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
And it might not be a big following, but they're still doing something and putting it out there and still in full control of their vision, not worrying about transportation, not worrying about communication programs, not worrying about trust and things like that. And I was just like, you know what? I can do these things. I can believe in myself and rely on myself to do these things and push myself and put these things out there. And I did, you know. So to answer that question, yeah, I was kind of done not working with people. You know, I enjoy having like full creative control of my project, you know. And that's not to say I don't welcome other ideas, but as far as working with the other people, I was like, you know what, this is what I want to do. This is my goal. This is my dream right here.
And you said you have a producer too, right? Or somebody that records you?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's yeah, we've been friends for a really long time. He's an incredible guitar player. One time we kind of we didn't have a falling out. We just kind of drifted apart, and then we reconnected on social media. And he says, "Hey, man, you know, got into this recording program. I've been writing music. Check it out." And he played me this full track of guitar, bass, and drums. And he's only a guitar player. And I'm listening to it. I'm like, "Man, you got a band now? This is sick, dude. I really like it." And he's like, "No, that's just all me." I'm like, "What?" You know, and he's just like, "Yeah, I wrote the music, I programmed the drums and this and that." He explained to me all the technical things about it. He's like, "Yeah, so I'm planning on putting it out there, you know, and what do you think?" He was getting my opinion. And then around that time was when I had that epiphany of my solo project, and I was just like, I can do this. I can definitely do this, and this is the tool to do it. You know? So yeah, that's been my creative process. You know, I'll write stuff, you know, fully orchestrated and whatnot. Give it to him. He does his technical magic, and then we record it and put it out.
Nice. Actually, showed Brandon 2 of my garbage demos, and like because most of it's all me. And
Oh, okay.
well, the drums are shit because since I have a real drummer, I don't really try to fix the drum parts. They sound kind of weird, but like once he starts listening to it, he can do it. But like it is kind of there's something rewarding about like working alone and then doing that, because you're not really wasting somebody's time to like for them to come up with a part for the song. It's like I'm gonna lock myself in my room, and then if I get stuck, I'm just gonna keep working on it until I'm unstuck, and I don't have to waste somebody's time or have them come up with a random riff that doesn't belong in the idea anyway. I don't know, you'll get that too, but I could, yeah, I see the benefits of like what you're doing, you know, which is there's nothing wrong with that at all. Obviously, there's a lot of artists that make full albums and they're all by themselves pretty much.
Yeah. One big inspiration of mine in regards to that is Prince. You know, I'm a big metalhead. I love death metal and stuff, but I love Prince because he had
He's the man.
Yeah, he just had a very uncompromised vision. He had a vision. He knew the sounds he wanted to put out. You know, he played many instruments. He knew what he wanted to achieve. And when he worked with the group, he maybe had their input. Maybe he just said, "Hey, play what I write," you know. But that man made it work, you know.
He was a mystery. You don't really know, like I don't think I've heard too many bad things about him, like as far as like other people. Like nobody in his band's ever like, as far as I know. I mean, I don't really look him up, but like, I don't think anybody's ever complained about working with him, and you don't hear any bad things about him. He's just his own person and can play everything and sing. And like I watched, well, I don't know what, some clip where he's playing with just an acoustic, and it's just him, and it's like, Christ, like he's just singing all the songs and playing acoustic, and it's like you could feel it. The guy was talented. It pisses me off. I could probably beat him up because he was a short guy, but that'd be the only thing I got over him.
Hey man, but when he wore those boots with the heels, he was about the same height as you, man, you know? And he could still take your girl, you know?
Right? Prick. Rest in
Yeah.
peace, Prince. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple of metal people also that just do their own thing. Like, can't even think of somebody. Bilo, I think it's his name. He's like a solo artist.
Oh, okay.
Bilo, David Maximum Meek, some dude from like Czechoslovakian or something. I don't know. That's just one example. He does like instrumental music, but he has like singing on it.
One one guy I got into a while back around the time I was doing my solo thing is Keith Merrow.
Oh, that guy's amazing.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
got into him when I saw him demoing like guitar humbucker pickups and stuff on
Yep.
YouTube.
Yep.
And I saw in the comments they're like, man, that's such a cool riff. And when he released that song, I'm like, this guy's an actual musician. I looked him up and I was like, wow. And I think at that time he had just done Conquering Dystopia.
Oh yeah, it's a fun album.
Yeah, with Alex Webster, and I think it was uh oh man, Jeff Loomis, I believe his name.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that was some really killer stuff. I was like, wow. And then, to hear his solo stuff, it's like, dude, this guy's doing his own thing. Like, that's awesome.
No, I did the first alluvial, him and like Wes Hout. It's literally
Yeah.
like the greatest fucking guitar tone I've ever heard, like hands down. I'm saying it on this podcast. That is the greatest metal tone of all fucking time.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't even know if they use a real drummer. I mean, it's all instrumental, like heavy songs, which in a way, like, it's cool because of the songwriting doesn't suffer. But like, I don't know if there's really if I have to look it up. I don't know if they really had a real drummer on that album or not. But like, again, like projects have been done without like a whole bunch of members.
Mm-hmm.
So
Exactly.
yeah, there's a big niche for it. I mean, it's the thing nowadays. Just and some people actually like take the show to, or excuse me, the music to a show, and they manage to do it. So yeah, I mean, if that's what you want to do, it's pretty much acceptable. Nobody's gonna say, "Oh, it's just him on stage."
Some people are still going to do that. Just like in everything, you're always going to have critics. You can legit go out there with an acoustic guitar and bring the house down, and people really be into it. But there's still going to be some people that be like, it was okay. I mean, it was just him. He'd sound a lot better if he had a drummer with them at least. It's like, what? Come on, guys.
I watched I don't know if you guys are all Opeth fans, right? But like, I watched that dude get on stage on an acoustic and sit on a stool and play like Be Nighted, which, folks, if you ever heard that Opeth song, it's all fucking impossible to play unless you're him. And he just did it flawlessly while singing in Chicago. And I'm like, this is the greatest guitar player of all fucking time. I mean, he's just playing his acoustic song. I mean, the band kicks in after a while, but if you guys heard a song, like, holy shit. Yeah, he just did that flawlessly. He's a prick.
That's crazy. I'm not into them, but I've heard many, many things about them throughout the years. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're one of the they're one of the most boring bands live. I've seen them twice. I probably get some shit for that. Like, the songs, but like they don't move a lot, and I get it. It's prog metal band, but like, I don't know. That could be another debate whether somebody needs to move around on stage or not. I mean, I think like a lot of people I hate to bring this up, but between the Barry and me, they kind of just stand there too.
Mm-hmm.
But one homeboy got in trouble in the news lately, so we're not gonna bring him up right now.
Yeah. Or if you want to even do another debate, like Meshuggah, those guys stand there and play, but they have an entire light and laser show synced up to every little.
Oh, that's what I heard. Yeah, they used to move. I've never seen them live, but I heard they used to move. But once they got that, they don't. So.
Yeah, I've seen live videos, and I got a chance to see them back in 2018 when I saw them with Code Orange, and Code Orange opened up for them. And I swear it felt like I was transported to another planet. Like the lights and the lasers came on, and just the pummeling of the drums, and they're just standing there. There's almost zero energy on stage from some long hair whipping around, but they're just standing there. But it's an incredible live show. It's crazy.
I bet you if they move, they'll have a seizure. That's probably why they stay in one place. I need to see this light show badly. Like I keep missing them, and I never seen them. And it's like everybody that goes to see them, I think like they feel blessed, like Jesus, like washed their feet.
Almost, yeah, almost.
Is that what it felt? It's like you just you basically were born again, huh? Man, I mean, there's some bands that are like I scream like a girl for, but I think I should probably see that band one time in my life. So there's that.
Yeah. That year leading up to that, I was blessed enough to see Rammstein, Tool, and Meshuggah.
Shit,
And
that's like the package there.
Those have to be the three best live bands I've ever seen.
Huh.
Yeah, they put on a hell of a show, all three of those bands. And again, you could do the debate with Tool. The guys just stand there, and Maynard's hiding in the shadows behind an LED screen, you know.
I've never seen like any clips of them, so yeah, okay. Huh.
Well, back in the day, I know they used to move around a little bit. Maynard would put on like a little performance, you know, and whatnot. But now, like for the last like 20 years or so, the band is situated there. They're all lit up and lasers and screens and whatever. And Maynard is on a little platform in the back next to the drum riser with no lights on him, and there's just a silhouette of him singing.
Are you sure it's him? Maybe it's like he's not really there.
Right?
The guy lip syncing. Man, I won't. I I don't know if lip syncing is used in metal, but like I've seen one band actually do it, which is according to a certain individual who ran sound for him. He said the singer had like stomach surgery and he couldn't do it. And it's like, well, then why are you playing? So
Yeah.
I've seen it was a death metal band, and I actually seen him lip sync because when certain parts came up, his mouth wasn't by the mic, and I'm like, because the vocals were too perfect. I was like, wow. And then I looked carefully, and that's when I noticed it. And I'm like, this is wrong. I don't like we get like pop music is enough shit. I get it. Pop music's lazy for those, those celebrities who they got to call their show off because their throat hurts. But like death metal guys are supposed to be hardcore, but
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the only time I ever witnessed that, and I'll never forget that night. I would have hoped that if I ever see that band again, that they would rectify what they did. I'm not gonna call them out on it. Or the name of them, but
Yeah.
I've seen it one time. So
Wow.
a lot of topics going on tonight, I guess.
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah. So any other kind of crazy stories or things of the future going on?
Let's see. Another crazy story. Okay,
I mean,
so
it must be crazy enough that you don't want to play with other people, so you must have like a lot of things inside.
again, I mean, it's kind of a double-edged sword because there were some very, very incredible players I was very fortunate to hook up with and jam, but just as people, it's like they couldn't separate things. They couldn't communicate. They, for whatever reason, they weren't on the same level as. And I'm in no way putting myself on a pedestal. I'm not saying I'm somewhere where they should be or whatnot. But, just to be at that level of wanting to get this done, wanting to achieve the dream, wanting to accomplish the mission, they weren't there.
I was gonna say on a respect to them, are they doing anything like all the people that you jam with? Are they currently in stuff, or just still kind of?
As far as I know, because I do not keep in contact with any of them.
Okay.
As far as I know, none of them are doing music anymore.
I guess their part wasn't truly in it, huh?
See, that's what I don't want to say, but that's it seems like.
Or as I've said before in the podcast, life gets in the way, and it's like a kid comes up, or they get they go with the female that doesn't want them to play music no more or whatever. Yeah, I can see.
You know, even on that subject, I've told, partners before, and I've told my fiance now, it's like, I love you, and, it's you and me in life, but music's my number one. Music's my baby. Music and art, it's always going to be there, and it might take precedence over you sometimes, like I got to get that out there,
We just lost a few of the female listeners who think they wear the pants. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, John.
I apologize.
Again, that's a whole nother subject we won't get into, but like, yeah, it happens. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a dream. It's a thing you want to accomplish, and
Right.
it's no disrespect to the other party, but just, sometimes it's something you just got to do,
Yeah. Anyway, I totally interrupted you because you started the story. Sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. So, yeah, I mean, as far as, jamming with other people, great musicians, interesting, off-putting personalities. I was in a band with a guitar player, drummer. We were looking for a singer and a bass player. We met up with a female who was in a local death metal band, and she was also a bass player. And she did backing vocals for this band she was in. And I showed a video of it to the guys. They're like, wow, like, yeah, let's try to get her, and this and that, whatever. Met up with her. She seemed cool. Kind of like the one upper. If you did something, she did it twice. If you've never done that, oh, but she did, kind of one of those things.
Oh boy.
And again, everyone's got a different personality. I was not going to fault her for that. If she can get it done in the rehearsal room, no problem with me at all.
Right.
But one comment that was very funny was, since she was a bass player, we're like, because at the time, me and the guys were writing pretty intricate stuff. It was borderline death metal. It was kind of prog metal. There's a lot of movement on the fretboard going on. And one of the I guess you could say the prerequisites was we wanted someone who could either play with a pick or fingerstyle. I know that's a whole nother debate amongst the music community as well. And that was our thing because it was versatile. It's like, okay, if you want to play a heavier part, you can use a pick. If you want to do some crazy tapping or this and that, you play fingerstyle. No big deal. It's up to the person. When we asked her about that, we're like, hey, are you comfortable? We kind of had a little meetup and like a interview, I guess you could say. And, we asked her, it was just an innocent question. Just, hey, as far as playing bass, what do you prefer? Do you play fingerstyle? Do you play with the pick? Because, we got like a lot of movement on the fretboard in our songs, like whatever you're comfortable with, what's your style? Well, I play with my hands because I'm not a pussy. And like the three of us just exchanged the look from around the table, and we're just like, okay, we're not calling you out on that. We're just asking a simple question. Well, yeah, I play fingerstyle. That's the only way you play bass. Okay, cool, awesome.
She told you off.
Yeah, it was weird. It's like, okay, I don't think it was a hostile question. I wasn't trying to trigger you or anything. It was just a honest question. And that never went anywhere. When it came to the first rehearsal, at the end of that meeting, it was like, yeah, man, I like your sound. Yeah, I'll totally jam with you guys and this and that. When it came to the first rehearsal, oh, something came up. My boyfriend's car broke down. I can't make it over there. He can't drive me, this and that. Okay. And then, a week or two goes by. Hey, you still interested in jamming with us? And then no reply. Then ghosted. It's like, well, okay, then we get it.
Did you ever hear her play then?
No.
Not at all. She just showed up for an audition that never happened.
Yeah.
Oh man. You guys are too intimidating. Now for the audience, chicks rock, okay? Like, yeah. I wonder if she was just nervous, like she was trying to one up by saying like, well, I could do it better. Maybe she's just like trying to destroy the alpha male thing, But
and
yeah,
fine, I guess.
Yeah.
Just the way that was put out there, it's like, well, okay.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
No, females rock, man. It's cool. Yeah. There'd be more like death metal females that like to play. Actually, I think there is a death metal band from out that way that's all females. Pretty sure they're.
I've seen
female.
some. There's an all-girl band. I don't know if they're death metal, but I forget where they're from.
Like she
I
sings. Like,
if we're talking, if we're all thinking or talking about the same band, I think I know who that might be because I might have worked with one of them.
I know the main one. She sings and plays. She reminds me of like Chuck from Death. I think she solos too. Like they came. I saw them in Joliet. I'm like, holy shit, they're all females.
Yeah, I think I know. I think we're referring to the same person. I think.
She's
or the-
Mexican. She's Mexican. I know that.
yes, yes. I think we're all on the same page right now.
Sick.
If that is the band that we're all thinking of and that I'm thinking of, I did eventually work with someone in that band.
Oh yeah.
And it was cool, but again, communication, little things, that we've mentioned throughout the episode, little things like that came up, and it was just a turn off. It's like, really, like, yeah,
I thought LA was like supposed to be thriving with like amazing musicians. I guess it's the ones that like play Guns N' Roses style stuff. I don't know. I'm not ripping on the scene or anything.
You know what it is? I think because the thing is, I know the music industry was really booming to find bands in the LA area because of bands like Guns N' Roses and things like that. And now LA still has some very good bands. But they're not everybody's cup of tea. They're, maybe they're too death metal, maybe they're too metalcore or something. There's a lot of extremes. It's a lot of this and not enough of something else, and so I could see, the music industry and like producers and things being burned out about the musicians in this area because there's a different ego. There's something in the air. In addition, in regards to oh well, we've played here and there, we've put out this and that. Well, have you guys ever done this? Have you played that arena? No, we don't need to. We stay in LA. We have 1,000 people come to our show every day. We got 10,000 followers on social media. We don't need to do that stuff. It's like, okay, you're not the next Iron Maiden or the next this or that, but okay, sure. It's one thing to have confidence in your art. It's another thing to be very braggadocious about something, and being too much of that is a big turnoff, I believe.
No, that's annoying as hell. Actually, just bragging too much.
There's a lot of that.
As they say, I want all my homies to succeed.
Yeah,
unless you look like a wolf spider. But that's that joke. Sorry.
Yeah, 5 years ago today.
Really? Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, I guess that's why I brought that up.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well,
That's
John, do you have
Yeah.
anything else you'd like to talk about? Or we can start plugging your music of where they can find your stuff at and what you got going on.
Yeah, I mean, I'll end it with saying that there's a lot of incredible musicians out there. I haven't met all of them. The ones I've met, I've had interesting experiences, and I hope the ones who have good intentions in the scene are doing their thing and getting those views and those listens and getting out there. Because there are, aside from the personalities, there's a lot of great bands out there right now, killing it in the local scene.
I mean, your local scene, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I was to say, like, not everybody's like that, but not as thriving as LA, but yeah, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. Or, and everywhere else for that matter, everyone who's trying to make it, because we all started somewhere, even, bands like Van Halen, Metallica, Slayer, all those bands started somewhere, so, just do your best to support, just be cool. Just everyone be cool with each other. We're all in the same group together,
That's what I keep saying. We suffered enough from the Beast era. Let's try to be decent to each other. We hope.
Yeah. So as far as things with me, my band Parasite, I write all the music, the guitar, bass, and I program drums. I have my good friends singing vocals on it. You can find me on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Spotify.
MySpace.
Showing
I
our
wish.
age.
I went on MySpace a few years ago. I saw a tumbleweed go by my screen, man.
Yeah.
Shit.
I miss those old MySpace days.
Yeah, top 8.
Yep.
Right, and you're able to, like, if you were in a band, you'd force them to listen to your song as soon as they click on the page.
Right, have the
wow.
the music embedded in there.
Yup.
It was
Yeah,
so much
good time.
easier.
Yeah, but yeah, you can find me on all streaming platforms. I also play in a band with my producer. We're called Wisdom and Fools, where he writes all the music, plays guitar, he does vocals. I play bass and program the drums for his project.
Mm.
And we're revving up with some things behind the scenes, his project, my project, and we're going to be moving forward. I did put out a song recently, a few months ago. If I could talk about that and
Sure.
just kind of throw it out there. Yeah.
That would
If
be
you want, we can include it on the end of this episode.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
We always release this, one of the latest releases, whatever song you have. We can always have it added on here. So if you want to talk about the song, what it's called, and we can play it at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. The song is called Purged in the Waters of Truth. And it's a cool little straightforward metal song. I've heard different things. That's the thing about my project. I just call it metal or groove metal. There's many different elements to it. Some people say they hear new metal, they hear thrash. Some people said this new song sounds like Pantera and black metal.
That's a weird combo. But yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah, you can just email that to me, and then I can add it to the end of the episode right here.
Okay. Do you prefer like a Spotify link or YouTube or?
It would need to be the actual file, like a MP3 or a WAV file would be the easiest way for me to take the audio and actually embed it to the episode.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah, right on.
Hell yeah.
Well, John, we appreciate you coming out and talking with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for having me. It was very, very cool.
It's
Yes.
definitely cool to hear what goes on out in LA because we're here in Indiana, which is, we call it the shithole of America, but you know,
Asshole of the
Yeah.
universe.
where bands come to never do anything, it seems like.
But do meth. But
Yeah. But anyone out there listening, if you want to be on an episode of Dark Side of the Scene, send an email to brandon@darksideofthescene.com. We'll get you scheduled on an episode. So, John, you want to go ahead and say the name of the song one more time, the name of your band before we roll on out?
Absolutely. Parasite and my latest song, Purged in the Waters of Truth, is available on all streaming platforms, anywhere you get to listen and watch your music.
Awesome. All right, everyone, take it easy.
Thank you.